What's up, everybody? This is Talkin All That Kazz, and I am DJ Kazzeo. I want to thank you for checking out this particular episode of Talkin All That Kazz. On this particular episode, I got another great interview that I conducted here on my radio show at 90.9 FM KHTC in Salinas, California. But before we get going with that, I want you to go to this address, djkazzeo.com, and connect with me on social media. Whether it's on my Facebook, on my Instagram, on my Twitter, or even if you go and subscribe to my Mixcloud channel, you can hear all my radio shows that I do in their entirety, music, commentary, and interviews. But this right here, Talkin All That Kazz, this is for just the interviews, okay? I want to thank everybody who checked out the first round of interviews that I put up. Now we're on to the second round. This particular round, I'm going to focus on 2019, but I'm going to sprinkle it in with some more current stuff too. So you never know what you're going to get. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy another edition of Talkin All That Kazz with me, DJ Kazzeo. That's right, man. We're back in the place right here. It's 90.9 FM KHTC Radio Bilingüe here in Salinas and Monterey. Of course, also on 104.1 FM out there in Hollister, San Juan Bautista, and South Gilroy. Streaming live worldwide on WednesdayRec.com. Running back the last half hour of music, you just heard Quad LeBay with Set Me Free. Before that, Chrissy Ais with No Soy La Mujer. Joey Kidd, The Way, Stephanie Bennett with Shine, Audi Medina, No More, Jacqueline Rose and LSP, Nothing Left to Say, and brand new music from Twins Beats featuring Brenda K. Starr. It's called Body of Proof. Now, if you've been following me on social media, you know I've been announcing it for a minute now. We are joined right now by the lead vocalist from the group Linear, Charlie Pennachio. What's happening, my man?
What's up, brother? How are you? All right?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to have you on the line, man. You know, one of the bigger groups from the early, late 80s, early 90s, as far as freestyle went. But, were you comfortable being put in the freestyle genre, or did you feel you were more of a pop group?
Well, here's the crazy story. First, thanks for having me. Love Salinas. We've been there, tons of times, obviously. So here's the story, man. When I first started doing the music, I started with Stevie B. I played in his band. So traveling with Stevie before, remember, if you guys know Coro, Coro was another keyboard player. It was me and Coro. And then on drums was a guy by the name of, we called him Gerald Pee Wee Rappaport, and that was Stevie's first band. So freestyle was in the blood, man, from the get-go. And then from there I switched over after Stevie kind of did some different things. I wanted to do my own stuff. I wound up hooking up with, obviously, Tolga, the producer, and went on to work on a bunch of Linear stuff. And we kind of, we changed tempos a little bit, man. We weren't quite 120 BPMs. If anybody out there knows tempo, that's a little bit more dancey.
Right. Instead,
we slowed it down to about 105 for the DJs there to mix with records like Girl, You Know It's True, Seduction. So we kind of went down, and all of a sudden the record kind of jumped out of, I guess we'll say, the freestyle thing. But even though we were a Miami-based freestyle act, it popped off and went pop. And, next thing you know, we sold 2 million records, and we're like, this is unbelievable.
Right.
So it just happened like that,
Yeah, the thing is like, as you said, you had been working with Stevie B and Tolga. So when Sending All My Love comes out, it has the vocal tone of like a Stevie B, a Tolga, a GT, but it's the tempo of like more R&B stuff, as you said, like Seduction and Milli Vanilli and that kind of stuff. So it was a weird, in a good way, a like a hybrid of the two. Is that kind of the way you guys saw it as well, or?
Absolutely. When it's funny because it was me and Tolga sat when we wrote that night. We finished the song in 3 hours, tracked it, finished it, vocals, wrote it, and we go, you know what? We think we got a smash record here. We knew it, and we started our own record company the next day. We put it out on our own label. We worked on it for 12 months, man. Not one radio station calls. I made up 5 fake promotion guys' names and 5 fake voices and called radio for 12 months, and finally got somebody to play the record in Hilo, Hawaii. We were living in Fort Lauderdale at the time, and then the record just exploded. And it went pop instantly, which changes the game at times, because sometimes the freestyle was regional, Miami, Chicago, New York, Texas, California, so it didn't really kind of seep in all over the place as much as you would like it to. And just the Linear record, Sending All My Love, did that, and we're fortunate for what was created that night, and we thank our blessings every day. We even got a shot to be in the music business.
Well, definitely. I mean, back in those days, first of all, the record label you were talking about was Futura Records.
That's right.
Yourself and, as you said, GT. Like you were saying, there were outlets, while freestyle was like sporadic in markets, as you were saying, in regions, like for the sound that and the tempo you were coming out with, there were outlets such as like Dance Party USA, Nia People's Party Machine, stuff like that you guys could get booked on, and to promote your stuff when maybe radio wasn't necessarily picking up on it, right?
That's right, and mix shows, man. I mean, thank God for you guys, right? All the DJs out there that would take a chance on breaking a new record, and that's exactly what happened. San Jose, Salinas, I mean, all those areas. I mean, it's still to this day. I still have friends from all over those places because you guys broke records, man, and we made really great friendships. So yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, the thing was, I mean, back in those days, it seemed like, there was more freedom where, like, it was kind of more of like a situation where the club dictated what was hot on the radio. And somewhere in like the early 90s, it kind of like flipped around where the radio dictates what's hot in the club. So, it's even more important now for shows like I'm doing. It may not be like a commercial station, but it's public radio where that freedom still exists and we can break records. So, my question to you is, why do you think that it flipped around in the early 90s and became more of like radio dictating to the club as opposed to the club and street dictating to the radio?
Well, hey, you exactly said it right, because once somebody was feeling something on the street, it pushed radio all different ways at that point. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Yeah, so I mean, why do you think that all of a sudden it flipped around and like it became, opposite?
Well, music record companies dictate things sometimes. I think here, let's face it, stuff that's on the internet now that people are listening to, some of the stuff that sneaks through the cracks and becomes a biggest streaming record for a new artist or whatever with no airplay. If the song's good, I guess the song's good and people find it. I mean, not every talented person gets discovered. So it's hard to say. There's different formulas for all of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there definitely are. It's just a sad state because it's like I said, I mean, it's like the same 5 songs you hear on the radio now. If you go to any like random club, you're going to hear those same 5 songs. And it's like there's no.
Well, we can say the word corporate.
Right.
If there's one person, and if the folks that are listening out there in the music business, nowadays you have one guy sitting in an office, say in New York, programming records for your town. And maybe that's not the case of what's going on in your town.
Exactly.
There's some guys out there making moves that are doing it from their town and basing it off of what they think their people want to hear, or you have to get it from an office in New York that thinks something in Salinas is going to work. It's hard to say. In my case, we were fortunate because I was passionate about it. I did everything for my band, my record. I made phone calls to everyone every single day. I did everything that I could to make it work. So no one was going to tell me I was not going to make it, even though everybody did tell me I wasn't going to make it. I just didn't listen, and I just made every phone call I could. So, I mean, unfortunately now there's so much social media that it gets drowned out. Maybe some of the good stuff doesn't really go to the top because there is so much of it and it's hard to find. But back when we were putting out records, guys that were putting stuff on in the clubs, you knew right away if the record was hot enough, if the people danced, and then it transferred over to the radio. And, I mean, some records still make it that way, I would suppose, but it was different back then, for sure, no doubt.
It for sure was. It for sure was. You mentioned GT. You and GT were co-songwriters, correct?
Yeah, me and Tolga as well, GT, Stevie, we all were in the same camp in Miami and Fort Lauderdale area. And it's a funny story real quick about GT, which is nuts. But GT had an ear infection, and he was supposed to play City Lights in out there by you guys.
Right.
And he couldn't do it. And he said to me, Charlie, he says, man, I got to show up out there or I'm going to have a problem with the promoter. But back in the day, nobody really knew what the artist looked like.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, give me the tracks. I'll go out there and let me learn the song. So I flew out there. I did the performance out there. No one knew that it wasn't him.
that is so funny out here at City Lights. I'm wondering if it was one of the times I might have actually been at the club that night.
You probably were.
Yeah. You know, I didn't know what GT looked like until I saw the CD that came out like in '95. So
right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so it would have been very easy for someone like yourself to just come in and take over, as long as, because I mean, really, he had like maybe 2 records at the time.
Yeah, I Need You was the first one. That was it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you could just come in and it'd be no problem. But when Linear first came together, I mean, I know when you guys were touring, there were 3 of you, but were any other members like GT or Tolga part of the group originally?
So we started out on the road with Tolga and we were in his band. I was in Stevie's band first.
Mm-hmm.
Then I wound up moving over to Tolga's band for a year while I was working on my record. And so it was me, Tolga. We had a guitar player, Phil Keneally, who was part of the group. And then we had Wyatt, who was in Linear. And then originally Gerald Pee-wee from Stevie's band on percussion, and we had and drums. And then we had Joey, who was percussion and backup dancer. So we started that way. And then when Linear came together, me and Tolga wrote the song in the studio one night. It came together quick. We knew we had a hit record, obviously. And then Linear originally was going to be me. And then I was like, hey, Tolga, I want to take the guys with me. So originally, Linear was a 5-piece. So it was Charlie, me, Wyatt guitar, Phil Keneally, bass and guitar, and Wyatt bass and guitar, Gerald drums, and Joey percussion. And that was a 5-piece. Right before we got signed, Phil and Gerald left the band. So we wound up going and doing the deal with Linear on Atlantic Records. It was me, Joey, and Wyatt at the time. And then in '93, Joey left the band, and it's been me and Wyatt. We have another member that we travel with when we do shows. So yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
Right. Going back just a step now, you were saying how you were part of Stevie B's band. Were you part of the group when Glenn Gutierrez was there?
No, Glenn was right after me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep, Glenn and Eric and all those guys and Pharrell and all good guys. They came in after us, and I was there for the whole making the first Party, the Party Your Body record. Stevie recorded a lot of that record in a place called Coral Springs, Florida, in the studio that we had out there, and a lot of it, believe it or not, in a hotel room on Lowe's in New York on 51st and Lexington. At the Lowe's Hotel, where there was 8 of us sharing a hotel room, if you can believe that.
Ironically, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
Oh man, good times, early day stories. I always love hearing them, man. So you know what? Let's take a quick break. I'm gonna jump into "Don't You Come Crying."
Nice.
And then we'll come back, and I want to hear some good road stories. If you got some of those, and we'll talk about what you're up to now, and then I'll let you get back to that freezing cold out there in Nashville.
You got it.
All right, hold on, man.
Tight.
That's right. We're back in a place right here. It's 90.9 FM KHTC Radio Bilingüe here in Salinas and Monterey, 104.1 FM out there in Hollister, San Juan Bautista, and South Gilroy. Worldwide streaming live at WednesdayRec.com. Back in the place, joined by my special guest, Charlie from Linear. What's going on, my man?
Well, I think if it's Gilroy, I'm smelling some garlic.
Oh yes, plenty of that out there, especially during the Garlic Festival that happens.
Well, I remember first being out there going, "Why do I smell this garlic?" They're like, "Dude, Gilroy Capital, man." I was like, "All right, I get it."
Yes, absolutely, man. A lot of agriculture out this way. You got Salinas, worldwide known for salad and lettuce, and then you got Gilroy known for garlic. We're covering all points, man.
Amen, no doubt.
Hey, so we were talking there during the break, and you were filling me in on a lot of big things you got going on right now. So before we get into any road stories, why don't you let people know exactly what's going on with you?
Well, the crazy thing is going from a pop freestyle band to living in Nashville, managing country bands is probably the farthest thing that I've ever thought that was going to happen to me. But over the years of writing records and doing productions and all this stuff, it led me to Nashville. It's an incredible music town. It's not only country, there's a lot of stuff going on, but after Linear kind of slowed down, I started writing and producing records. I don't know if everybody out there knows who Mandy Moore is.
Oh yeah.
Her first single Candy, I was a co-producer on that record, which was her first single that made her pretty much break all over the U.S. So I started writing and producing not too far after the Linear stuff slowed down, worked on some really cool records, and then wound up meeting a couple guys in Nashville that wound up becoming a band called Big and Rich. If anybody out there knows country music, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. So I'm in that camp right now. I manage the band. I also managed, if you guys remember the band O-Town, they're back. They're out doing shows. They'll be on the road this year, 2019, with the Pop 2000 tour hosted by Lance Bass of NSYNC. So got that going on. And the craziest thing, I work on a show called the Country Fried Mix, which is a, remix and mashup show of country music songs with a buddy of mine and producer DJ Sinister. And we're on like 50 plus radio markets around the country on country radio. So yeah, man, there's a lot going on. And now I am working on some new Linear material, and looks like we're going to probably hit the road somewhere in 2019. And you never know, we might be out on your side of the country. So yeah, come out and say hi. That's
what's up right there. So the syndicated show, is that like a weekly 1 hour, or is it daily, or?
It's a 3 hours on Friday or Saturday night.
Okay.
Country Fried Mix with DJ Sinister. Yep.
Okay, and that's available here in Salinas, I believe you said, on the iHeart channel, right?
That's right. Yep. Right.
Okay,
yep, right, yep.
So if you're looking for if you're into country music, check that out on Saturday nights. Charlie's doing his thing with DJ Sinister. But now let's get back to some road stories, man. What I know you toured extensively out here in the Bay Area, of course, in the Central Coast, Salinas and whatnot. Man. Give me some memories, some stories. What's some funny stuff out here, man?
Well, the stuff that I probably could say on the radio.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right. Yeah. I will say, Great America in San Jose, Grand Manteca area was incredible. Just playing California for the first time, coming in there, just everything that we've done has just been a blessing. I mean, there are funny stories. I mean, there's the first time that me and Joey and Wyatt walked into a 7-Eleven in your guys' area, which was we were on the West Coast. And we walk into the 7-Eleven and we look at the magazine rack, and we're on like 4 covers of teen magazines. And the owner of the store is mad at us because we're like looking at these magazines and we're not buying them at the moment. We're just looking through them because we can't believe we're in them.
Right.
And he threw us out of the store.
Ah, what a herb.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a ton of stories, but I mean, it's been an incredible musical situation for me. I like we talked earlier, off air, I wouldn't have changed anything, man. It's you make some mistakes, you do some great stuff, but it kind of puts you in a good situation. So on the story front, I mean, shoot, man, everything we did was great, and I'm happy to be able to be part of all of it.
Well, the thing about it is, no matter if it's good or bad, it makes you who you are now. So, I mean, why, you don't ever want to change that because, you're proud of who you are now,
Oh, man, yeah, exactly.
I mean, we've all done dumb stuff when we were kids, that's just the way it is, man.
Yeah. Like we said, I don't really regret it. I mean, but the stories, I mean, you're talking about stories, for being around people, getting to meet like certain people, Mick Jagger, George Clooney. I mean, I can name a ton of celebrities that you run into. That's all great. They're all people. So they might live a little bit different, but that's where they're at. We have a ton of show stories. I mean, there's times we fell off stage, where you ripped your pants on stage and you got to go get duct tape and tape your pants back on. I mean, there's a ton of things. I mean, I can, all the way down to, showing up in a hotel and there might be somebody waiting for you in the shower. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Right.
We might have
Right.
to we might have to continue this on the podcast.
That's what I'm saying. That goes offline. So yeah, I mean, it's all happened. You know, it all happened. And
But-
yeah.
I could tell you're going through your Rolodex in your head right now, thinking like, "Wow, man, there's some wild times."
PG-13, man.
Yeah, exactly, man, exactly. So, hey, before I let you go, you're back, you know, hitting it full force on social media. How can people catch up with you if they want to, you know, just touch base?
Instagram, Linear Band Official. And the quick story there is Instagram just took down my other account, Linear Band Charlie, but it'll be up because they didn't think it was really me, which is pretty funny. But yeah, so Linear Band Official is the one you can find us at. Hit us up. We respond to everybody. Is there anybody out there, promoters, want to bring us to California? Let me know. We can't wait to see everybody on the road, and hopefully we'll have some new music really soon, and you guys will get it this year. And you never know, might be coming out to see you guys.
That would be awesome, man. We'd love to have you here, you know, or record something live, man.
No doubt.
It would be great to do. So, all right, man, we're gonna jump into the big hit, the "Sending All My Love." You know, is there anything that you want to, you know, fill in the gaps as far as the story about this record before we drop in and I let you get back to the cold?
Written by myself, Charlie Pennachio, and Talkin in early 1989. Put out on our record label, Futura International Records, and then signed to Atlantic Records. And released in early 1990, and man, that record changed my life. So there you go. I appreciate the time, and everybody out there that listens to the music and still remembers us. Big thank you, and hope to see you soon.
There you go. There you go. All right, man. Hold on the line. I'm going to talk to you in a second, and this right here, Linear, "Sending All My Love."